afternoon, listeners, and welcome back to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming of both RCS Technology Solutions and RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients using various Internet marketing techniques and methods. The purpose of this show is to bring on two subject matter experts in the first two episodes, and time allowing, I will give away some free tips on the third section. The subject matter experts are vetted by me, so they are in fact experts in their field. Some of them I actually use myself for my marketing and stuff that I do. And that's why they come on the show, because I know for sure that they're good at what they do. And by coming on the show and talking about who they are, what they do, but how they got to where they are, it helps business owners and entrepreneurs not only learn a new skill set, but it also helps them avoid some of the pitfalls that we all go through during the process of starting our business and then in the process of trying to achieve that even greater success. So our second guest today is Jared Wiese. And Jared Wiese is an expert on LinkedIn for both job and lead profiles. He helps with resumes and LinkedIn makeovers. He is also a LinkedIn expert and a content creator, a lead generator, and a coach, all with respect to LinkedIn, which is super important for anybody who is in business, because LinkedIn is to the business world what Facebook and Instagram is to the personal world. Jared, how are you today?
Great, Ron. How are you doing?
Excellent. Long pause there for a second there. I didn't know if you were on the line.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Now, where are you calling in from?
I'm based near Madison, Wisconsin.
Excellent. But being in Wisconsin doesn't prevent you from working with people all over the globe, including the Boston area. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct. I've got another person right now active that's in the UK.
Nice. And I also am a client of yours for my LinkedIn profile. We've just redone it, and I'm in Boston. So, again, I am a testimonial that you have not, that borders don't contain you.
Exactly.
So my introduction of you was very, generic. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how it helps them? And I'll just pipe in with follow-up questions in between.
Sure, that'd be great. I appreciate that, Ron. Yeah, and you kind of hit it on the head. A lot of what you read off was right out of my headline. Put it this way, this kind of jumps right to the punch, right to the heart of it all. I made, in my current job, I made a one-word change to my LinkedIn profile. I got a call from a recruiter the next day and ended up getting the job. LinkedIn is that powerful. I help people essentially with using content and engagement to find leads and actually turn those leads into prospects. I see it happening all the time. I was just helping a client this morning, and he got a new connection, new possible prospect in Italy, of all places. So here we are. We were just talking about the worldwide presence. LinkedIn is global. I believe at the current stand right now, it is about 536 million people that are on LinkedIn. The key, though, the key distinction is those people are not all active. And as you said in your intro, there are many pitfalls, a lot of things that people don't know about how to leverage LinkedIn and how to maximize it. That's kind of where I come in a nutshell. And just set the stage, essentially what I would say in terms of LinkedIn, it comes down to three things that I help people with. I help them with their settings, I help them with content, namely what's in their profile, and I help them with engagement, making sure they turn those leads into prospects. Another way I like to think about it, and I just kind of came up with this recently after talking with a client, put it another way, it's like building your field of dreams. I help you turn on the LinkedIn lights. I collaborate with you to build your field, and then I help you to play the game. It's really kind of that simple, but it's in a story that you can all relate.
It's huge. And what is the process? I mean, you help people with 3 or 4 different dimensions there, all of which can help them on different levels, whether they're looking for a job, whether they're actually a recruiter looking for somebody to fill a spot, or if they're a business owner and looking for someone to possibly do business with. So what are some of the steps that you help people with, right, like from the beginning?
Yeah, that's a great distinction, because actually I started off more focused because of my own experiences and my own needs. I helped people with jobs, finding jobs, getting visible. Like I mentioned earlier, I made the one-word change on my profile, got the job essentially the next day. But if you back up about 20 years ago, I put my resume on a job board, and again, the same thing. I got the job the next day with relocation and everything. Nowadays, people can't do that. So I saw a gap. I saw a need that people were struggling. The hiring system with applicant tracking systems, ATSs, it's rigged against them. There are so many people that are going after a job, for example, that they submit resumes and they hear nothing back. They hear crickets. So that's kind of where I started off my focus. And then I started realizing, I joined BNI, and I realized, there are a lot of businesses that could use help with LinkedIn and getting visibility as well. And then not only visibility, but then doing something with it, getting those prospects. So with my background, I have a background in IT. I was a programmer back in college. So I've always had a knack for the technical. And that has kind of led to a natural progression dealing with LinkedIn and all of the quirks and the changes and, things that go bump in the night with LinkedIn, as I'm sure many of your listeners are aware. Things are changing all the time. Keeping up with those changes is what led me to really get good at LinkedIn. I had to, because it was changing all the time. And I think that's part of the frustration that people are having. They don't have the time, they don't have the desire to figure this thing out. And unlike Facebook, where you can throw $10 at it every once in a while and hope that you can boost an ad or boost a post, Facebook is very much driven like that. But LinkedIn, you have the power to do things organically. You have the power to, with a little bit of coaching, you can get traction. You can get people coming to your information, get them coming to your site, get them coming to your profile, of course. And there's various ways to do that. There are various areas of LinkedIn that are more important than others. As I know you've been pointing out in your video blogs, I believe you had 17 tips already that, even just going through, you've already found 17 different things that people can really benefit from. So there's lots to learn out there about LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's all true. LinkedIn is super important for business owners. We got different levels of people. So let's say somebody is just starting out in a business. I'm going to ask you three different groups, three different categories. So the first group is people who are just starting out in business. They're starting a new business. The next group might be someone who has been in business for, let's say, 18 months, 24 months. They've gotten over some of the hurdles. They're actually turning a profit. And then the next group would be somebody who's been in business for 5 years, and they're pretty much in the groove, but, they're in the business. They're not really working on the business. They're the ones who are providing most of the, getting the job done. So what would be 1, 2, or 3 tips? And it's possible that one or more of these tips will cover each group. But what would be 1 or 2 tips that people could actually use, given those parameters?
Sure, Ron. I like that. That's actually a great idea. And it's actually a little bit of a good segue, I would say, to one of the things I wanted to make sure we talked about on the show today. If you look at LinkedIn and approaching it from those 3 different experience levels, let's say, for a business, one of the things in general, a lot of businesses, I don't think, whether you could fall in any one of those categories, they don't realize the power of LinkedIn, and they don't realize how to take full advantage of it and actually use it to their benefit. And one of the things that I actually have in my proposal that I send off to people, LinkedIn kind of gives you a hint at how to go about this, no matter which of those 3 categories that you're in. If you know how to get to where your profile views are, you go to your profile, essentially, and you scroll down just a little bit. There's a thing called your dashboard. It's highlighted in a little bit darker color than the rest of your profile. And on the left side there's a section and a little square that's called Who Viewed Your Profile. You click on that number, and it takes you to who viewed your profile. Many of the listeners, I'm sure, many of the business categories you talked about, I'm sure they've been to this page at some point. But here's a little bit of a hint as to how you can attack no matter which level of experience you're coming from. In the upper right corner on this Who Viewed You profile page, there's a box up there that's called Profile Views Matter. And notice there are three things right there. It says update your profile, connect with people, and engage with your feed. So you could almost look at those three things from the perspective of those three different business experience levels, if you will. Whether you're just starting out, kind of goes with that first bullet, update your profile. If you're just starting out in business, you probably aren't that active on LinkedIn, is my guess. But there's a lot to learn and a lot you should be doing. Start with that. You literally could click on that link, and what it'll do is it'll bring you right back to where I just described that you came from, because the point there, and that being number one of three, is that if you don't have a good profile, you're not going to get recognized. You're not going to get traction. You're not going to get leads. So basically, you're not even getting started. And back to my earlier story, that's where we're beginning to build that field of dreams. You want to give them a field of dreams. Give them something that they can play with. Now, the second one, again, this might go towards more the people that are more advanced. Or like you said, they're turning a profit. They are looking for new leads. They're looking for new prospects. They're looking to grow, looking to expand. So you click on the second link there, and it takes you to connecting with people. Now, I actually don't agree literally with this approach, but I agree with the concept. You want to be building out and reaching out to people with personalized messages, not this kind of a page where it says at the top, when you click that link, it says people you may know. It's a shortcut way. If you click on the connect buttons underneath people's pictures here, it sends them a generic message, and it's not a great way to start off building a relationship with somebody. Think if you're that second level of business. You've been doing this for a year or two. It's like walking up to them and handing them a business card and walking away. Would you ever do that? No, you would never do that, because that's all they're going to get. They're going to see a generic request that comes in from you, and it's got a little bit of your information, hopefully, on it, maybe a headshot, and basically a business card, your headline. And you're expecting them to want to do business with you. Good luck with that. That's probably not going to work. That's why, and this is one of the tips that I would offer you, because it seems like nobody either knows this or follows this. There's only one place, whether you're on the browser or on mobile, to personalize a new connection request, and that is from somebody's profile. So I could, if you get a hold of me, I can certainly send you off a little bit more detail on that. But I highly recommend doing that, because otherwise your chances, even at the admission of LinkedIn, your chances go way down to being accepted. Then there's that, let's go back to your question there, the third category. It says in that upper right of your profile views, it says engage with your feed. That's where the rubber hits the road. You want to be posting content. You want to be showing your expertise. You want to be showing the value that you as a business add to others. And then when people see that, it resonates. They click on your post, let's say. They click on your profile. They're coming back to you. You are now turning leads into prospects. So that's it at a high level. We can definitely get into that a little bit more, but I just wanted to make sure we covered your three areas right off the bat.
That's huge. Listeners, I want to let you know what you're hearing is a gold mine of information. You can certainly hire Jared, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I want to let you know that everything you've heard here are actionable tips. This episode, as all episodes, just in case you're unable to write these down, will be archived both on WCAP 980's website under archives. It's like you get to the website, you go up to the right-hand corner, you'll see it there. And then also on my website, RCS Technology Solutions.com. When you get to the website, you'll see a media tab. Just scroll down, you'll see radio shows. This episode, as all my episodes, will be archived in a day or two up there, so you'll be able to go back and listen to this. But, Jared, those are gems, man. Did you cover everything you wanted to cover in there, or was there a little bit more?
There's one thing that I didn't get a chance to mention early on. I'm sure you've heard of the idea of the elevator pitch. I know you were talking about that in your recording with Candy Baker. Think of it this way: whether you're a business or you're a job seeker, you've got to have an elevator pitch, and it can't be something that is too salesy, right? You can't, again, walking up and hand somebody a business card. You can't just walk up and say, "I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. Aren't I great? Do business with me." That's actually the worst thing you could probably do. Where I come in and where I can help is I've distilled down even my own background and my own offering down to one word, and I actually use it as a hashtag, and I recommend that people do the same thing. In one hashtag word, what it comes down to for me is, and who I am, is the value profiler. If you type that all in with that #, the hashtag, and the 3 words as one word, the value profiler, put that in on LinkedIn, you will start seeing all of my content. And you can add another word to it, and let's say you want to know about leads, or let's say you want to know about elevator pitch. Maybe you want to know about, starting off on a business, or BNI. Any buzzword or any common word for that matter that you want to add, you put it in the #, the value profiler, and then space, and add that word. And you'll be surprised at all the content that I've already put out there. Probably goes back a couple of years at this point. But that's how it starts, guys. I mean, that's it. You've got to get out there. You've got to show your value, add value, not just show it, but add value, help people out, connect with people, engage, and it all goes from there.
I love it. We still have like another 8 minutes or so, 9 minutes, and I want to make sure you cover whatever it is that you want to cover. But I want to let people know that if they need something tangible, something they can put their hands on and see, they can certainly go to my LinkedIn profile, Ronald Couming, Couming, and they can see the work that we've done together. And also, you last night, I believe, you did some searches. Can you give the results of those searches? Because these are similar results that they could get. And this has only been like 2 or 3 weeks, correct?
Yes, that's exactly right. And bear with me here a second. I'm going to pull up so I get some accurate numbers here.
I probably should have told you. But if you looked in LinkedIn Messenger, you sent them to me last night in Messenger?
I did, and I actually store them off in 3 different areas in 3 different ways. So I found it. As a result of what I do, and I'm glad you asked that. One thing I definitely wanted to cover, especially with your listeners, because this is huge. Everybody, for example, knows you, Ron, as an SEO expert. It's a little bit of a different beast on LinkedIn. It's obviously very similar, but how you do it, how you go about it, it's a different nuance. And, for example, you are the expert on Google and websites and all of that. I wouldn't know where to begin there, to be honest. But after working on your profile, as a result of it, for example, when you put in the keyword search term, search engine optimization, open paren, closed paren around SEO, you show up number 1 out of all the results. And there's over 460,000 results. When you add the word expert to that, you show up number 2. Then up the ante a little bit here. If you put in web design, you're showing up on page 2 out of 6.4 million results. Go back to web solutions, you're number 2. SEO expert, you're at the top of page 2. And it goes on and on and on. And actually, you and I, that was kind of like you said, that was kind of the beginning. When you and I started working together, one of the first things that I ask a client is I say, what do you want to be known for and found for? And that's where this rubber hits the road. You give me the term that you want. If I see the content in your profile, and if I have a way of making it work, you're going to get to the top of search results. And you as an SEO expert, Ryan, you know how important that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Awareness equals opportunity. You can have the best business in the world, but if people can't find you, they can't hire you or utilize your services. And the flip side is you could have subpar services or a product, think of like the pet rock or the hula hoop, and think about with correct marketing, in this case, using LinkedIn, you'll actually get found. So awareness equals opportunity, people.
Yep, exactly. And I know that when you and I started working earlier on, right after like the first take on this, and as you know, SEO changes, right? Other people come up and things move around. Other people are changing their content. They're changing backlinks and all that kind of good stuff. So it is a little bit in flux, but that's where the maintenance comes in. And it's one of the things that I'm now offering for my clients, is I'm seeing that as also as a need, is to keep working with them on a more of like a retainer basis, just because there's so much to keep up on. You may be at the top of SEO results one day, and next day you slip down to number 3 or number 6. That's what I saw with you. When we started working on your profile, I got you, I believe, up to page 2 out of, I think it was 7 million results for another common search phrase for what you do. And then I think you were on page 1, but not quite near the top of over 3 million results. So it's in flux. But again, if you narrow down your focus, you can't have 40 search terms that you want to be found for. It's got to be real. It's got to be focused down to what value you provide. And that all should be congruent anyway. When you know that, and then we put that together in your profile, we can make it shine, and we can pop you up to the top of SEO results. And let me just say, as a good segue right there, it's one thing, and this backs up to the 3 things that I basically offer on LinkedIn. I get to, and go back to that Field of Dreams analogy. The Field of Dreams, you have to turn on the lights, right, to be able to build the field and play the game. Turning on the lights has to do with settings. There are over 66 settings, and that's just high-level settings within LinkedIn. As I found, I think, with your case too, Ron, and I'm finding it actually more and more with my clients, if the settings aren't on, you are invisible. It doesn't matter if you've got great SEO in terms of your content, you are invisible. So you've got to make sure that you're being public, all of your content is public, and your profile is getting out to be public. Then the second thing, after you have the settings down, is working on that content, getting that profile to attract a Field of Dreams, right? But even so, you may be at the top of SEO, you may have incredible content, you may be attracting to people, but what if they're not doing the searches? What if they don't know you exist? That's where the third part comes in, the engagement, helping people post what they want to get that visibility and get leads, but then have them engage on it and turn those leads into prospects.
Excellent. Now, again, let's say you've seen some of my posts. I recently put together a series of videos, whether it's on website conversions, LinkedIn profiles, whatever it was. Each one of these posts, when they click on the video, takes them back to my website, but they all have my LinkedIn profile. And so using this type, is this within LinkedIn? I mean, I know in search engine optimization, it's a killer, but in LinkedIn, is these type of posts, what type of posts will A, help you move up in the ranks just by so many of them being out there with the backlinks, and then B, is it the posts, the engagements, a combination, one or the other?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. One of the pitfalls, again, back to the theme of your show, one of the pitfalls is that people will find great content and they're excited. They want to share it, maybe their own content from their own website. But one of the problems and challenges that people face with LinkedIn, and not a lot of people know about it, I don't think, still. If you make a post, so you go to the top of your feed, by the way, you click on the in the upper left when you're logged into LinkedIn, and that will take you back to your feed. In your feed, at the very top, you'll see where it says share an article, photo, video, or idea. There's kind of a little bit of a white space right there. When you click on that, now you're able to start typing up to 1,300 characters and share something of a post. But here's the kicker. There's also buttons there for images, for an article, which is a separate thing altogether, but for images and video. And, of course, you can paste in a link, as we discussed. The problem is, if you have a link in it when you do that post, it will go nowhere per the algorithm. And most people don't realize that. The other thing that's probably a little bit not as bad, but just as bad, is images and video from what I've seen. You have to have a ton of followers to get good traction with images and videos. Otherwise, again, it's going to be limited per the algorithm. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way it is. And the theory behind it is, I believe that LinkedIn doesn't want you, if you put a link there, they don't know what it is, and they're afraid you're going to go off the website. That's just a hunch. But I've seen a lot of people kind of agree with that thought. And so the trick is, get the engagement going. Show that value in text only. Start off with that. Show what you're all about. Use hashtags. I've got about 10 different tips that I provide clients when I start working with them. So it's too much to get into right now. But post that content text only. You can even use the hashtags. Give them some value add. Ask them questions. Engage with them right off the bat. But make it catchy. Up front, it's got to have a little bit of a hook. You can't just say, give a quote or something like that. You've got to offer them something. Give them a reason to click on your post and open it up, because that's another challenge. Everything's collapsed. So then when you got that engagement going, then you can post a link and put it, for example, in the comments. That's one app possibility.
Excellent. Again, we're down to like under a minute, so could you give everybody your contact information?
Yeah, I'd love to. And again, I appreciate this opportunity, Ron. I've been excited to do this. One of the things too, it's another little tip. The way to find me is, like I said earlier, you can put # the value profiler, and it will take you to me. If you make sure you're on the people tab inside of LinkedIn, it'll take you right to me. Also, as you'll see when you get to my profile, it has my name, Jared J. Wiese. I'm the one with a J. And it does say at the end of my link, the value profiler. Again, it's all part of, making your brand available and easy to find. So I really appreciate that. And please check out my profile. It really does say a lot about what I do. And connect, reach out. Let me know if I can help you.
Excellent. Everyone, thank you so much. Jared Wiese, you've been listening to, that's Wiese. You can find him on LinkedIn. Jared, Jared, you've been listening to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming of RCS Technology Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients using various Internet marketing techniques and methods.